What is happening, people? Steve Mayeda here. It is a beautiful day. We are stuck in quarantine here in Austin, Texas, and we're giving out these free lessons on men's development. If you want to follow along with these lessons, what you want to do is you want to download the PDF down below. We have a free call through our Austin Men's Development Board. The link for that is down below. That's going to happen Wednesday at 11 a.m. my time. If you're East Coast, that's noon. If you're West Coast, that's 9. If you're in Europe, that's some other time, or South Africa, America, whatever, you get it. But we have all these free calls where you can tap into this. And what we're going to talk about today is anger. This actually came off of our call last night that we had, our free call, our community call. And then it turned into, we have another group that's a paid group that continued talking for like 4 hours about this concept, which is crazy. So we're going to get into men's anger. We're going to get into a lot of the BS of men's development. And if you really want to work this, come work it with us. So here's the deal, guys. Open up this PDF. Boom. Number one thing, this does not replace mental health, therapy, psychiatry, any sort of dual diagnosis thing you have going on, which means basically like, hey, if you have something going on psychologically, like PTSD, there's no shame in it, man. I mean, like I've sought therapy in that. It's very beneficial. You should do it. If you're going through a tough time, like a mourning, a death, or a loss, go get the help you need. Or if you have something else going on, like you're bipolar, go get the help you need. This will complement that massively if you are working with a professional on that. And we just have tons of guys doing that. We also have the bare minimum here, which is basically, hey, do the work, answer the questions, take the actions, get involved in the calls in the community, because that's how this works. If you don't like how I'm teaching, that is totally cool. I've been in business doing communities online like this, teaching at a very, very high level in men's excellence, men's development for 13 years. 13 years is a long time, right? I have a huge alumni of it. So this is a free community. There's no expectations. The calls, we have a schedule of Monday in the evening. This is all Austin time, and you can find the little links down below to get the right stuff. We have a call on Wednesday at 11 a.m. Austin time. We have a call on Friday, 11 a.m. Austin time. And then if you're a part of our paid groups like Men's Development Excellence, which is, if you like this, you can sign up for that. We have calls all the time. We have a pretty rock solid community. Currently right now, we have the Rebuild Challenge going on, and that's a pretty cool thing to look at. Just follow those links. You guys get it. All right, let's get into this PDF. All right. So anger. Anger is something that we talk about. And last night on the call, what we were talking about was how people get angry and they don't want to be, or how people get angry, but it's a form of masculinity that should be appreciated. And all these things are true, but when we do them wrong, we screw things up. And this is where men's development gets so many things wrong. It's so bad. It's pathetic, right? So we have all these guys talking about, the alpha anger and all this stuff. And dude, yeah, let me tell you, I mean, when we talk about anger, I know anger well. And a lot of my clients do. A lot of my clients have had serious problems in their life where we have big time anger, but we have to learn that we can't just tell somebody else's story with anger. So for instance, let's say a gentleman on the call yesterday on our free call was talking about how he doesn't want to be angry, and he's, does things which are beneficial. So he does things that are good in his life to not be angry, like make friends, like learn different hobbies, like different forms of expression, be around the right people so he isn't angry. And this is good. This is actually step one. This is great, but this is not peace, happiness, confidence. These are not the actions of that. These are the actions of, hey, I can't deal with something. I got to distance myself. I got to put up a boundary. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's a great time and a place for that. But in the road of completely developing yourself, we have to take away that boundary and start looking at why we don't want to be angry, or what we are masking or replacing or distracting ourselves from or with, so we don't have to be angry. And why are we doing all those things? And ultimately, we have to open them up, right? Then we have other people that were jumping to anger, that had an issue, let's say with a girlfriend or so on, and it's like, no, you can't do that, da, da, da. And you jump to anger, you get really mad, you get triggered. You don't know why you're triggered, you're blindly triggered, and we can't figure out why. Like, what's setting that off? What's the depth of our anger? How much have we built a threshold of being angry within us that when we stub our toe or emotionally get hurt, this anger erupts, right? It just comes out. So this is interesting because if we wanted to look at self-development and either of these things, and there's way more than this, but if we wanted to look at self-development of going like, all right, man, I'm getting angry, so I'm going to fill my life with good hobbies. That's good. That's good. Or we want to be angry. We want to learn how to communicate in a way where we're not angry. That is good. We want you got to start there, but that's not the end of the road, right? That's not finding happiness. That's not finding confidence. That's finding a 6-month delay or a 3-month delay until a big major life thing comes up to where that anger releases again. Or we can find self-development on like, man, my girlfriend pissed me off, or so-and-so snubbed me at work and I got in their face and I got pissed off. And a lot of people were afraid, but this was me showing my anger and this was good. And you can watch, some podcast or listen to somebody about how this is a great thing, right? And man, I'm right here to say that this is a valid expression. This is something that's good, man. It happens to me all the time. I mean, like I said, my battle with anger is massive. Like I know this very well. But for me to go that in order to be my best self and free and living my life in a unlimited sort of way with my potential or my expression, that if I'm jumping to anger that quickly and justifying it as an expression of my masculinity, I'm probably pretty actually out of touch with my masculinity to need to do that. And, I'm not making choices. I'm living by reactions and expression, and all of our virtues. As one thing that we're learning, if you're following this course, is that all of our virtues from life that we're going to live by, those come out of peace. Those come out of stillness. Those come out of the calm. So our spiritual, and like I'm not a religious guy, but our expression that are the things that we want to live by. Like all those stupid memes that you see on Instagram of going like, I'm living my best life and all that sort of stuff, which if you follow me, I make a lot of jokes about that. Or if you don't know their jokes, they are. And man, I'm not that much of a douchebag, at least in that way. So the thing is that we see over and over in our culture, like this is what's good. This is what's good. This is like what we live by. But in order to really cultivate those things, we need peace. But then in order to follow, our world of man and what's going on in society and dealing with people and people stepping on our toes and getting screwed over or, being angry and avoiding stuff, we needed our rules of man or rules of the ego to be able to function. And if we have too much of that spiritual side, we're out of touch with the world side and we become these elitist spiritual dickheads. And if we have too much of the ego side, we're way out of balance and we spin off, and get all screwed up. And we see these examples over and over again. So one of our big things in terms of anger or real emotion is we got to get back to that peace. Whew, I've been talking way too much. Let's get into these questions. And these questions are deep, guys. I mean, we could spend a year or more on anger and your anger. And I want to, this is why you should be involved with our groups with MDX and all this stuff, but only if you like this. So this first question is anger, the emotion. We're going to explore that. Then we're going to look at anger, the ecosystem. Then we're going to look at anger, the suppression. And man, we barely scratched the surface on this. Okay. So we're just looking at it, but I want to discuss this with you guys on Wednesday's call. I want to discuss this with you guys on the Austin Men's Development Board. We're active right now doing it. It's a great opportunity to do these things. Okay. So anger is an emotion we feel. When do you feel the emotion of anger? And this could be many things, like you stub your toe, somebody pisses you off, you get angry throughout the day, whatever. Next question is what is the difference in getting angry when something happens to you and getting angry when something happens in the past? Now, what this is trying to get at, and there's a lot. I mean, there's so much to this, but what happens with I get really angry right now, my phone's not working. My GH5 camera is not connecting with my phone. I'm angry about that. Okay. Can't be angry about something that's not there. Well, we can dive into this a lot, but there's the moment of the anger, but then there's why am I getting so angry about this? Or am I angry about something in the past? Wait a minute, that made me think about the time when, I was at this convention and the camera equipment didn't work and there was all this pressure on me and then it made me panic. And so there's different points of anger now that might be triggering anger in the past. Or there might be anger now and you don't understand why you're so angry about it, but you are. In fact, that happened to me the other day. Like my house, the fire alarm went off, which we've never used forever. And it was malfunctioning. And then I found out I had to pay my kid's phone bill. And then I couldn't, it just made me angry. Why is that making me so angry? This is giving me an opportunity to look a little bit deeper. Okay. So a lot of times we can't see the root, but we'll get there. Okay. The ecosystem of anger. This is going to be crazy, okay? So what are you angry about in your life? So what are you pissed off about? Oh, man, I'm divorced. Oh, man, I don't got any money. Oh, man, the coronavirus lockdown, whatever it is. Like, what are you angry about in your life, right? Why did this happen? I'm out of work. What the fuck? There's reasons to be angry. You can find justifications for it, but that's your anger. That's your experience of now, which you got to be responsible of. Okay, think about your greatest wants, desires, and ambitions, and what's keeping you from them that makes you angry. And it should really be in how does that make you angry? So what are your big ambitions? Like, what do you want to do? Man, I want to do this. Oh, I can't do it. I can't do it because of this person, because of that person. What have you, this is going to get intense. If you keep going on this questionnaire, I want you to really be involved in our groups. Okay. So what have you been saddest about in your life? Okay. What have you been traumatized the most about in your life? What has hurt you the most in your life? And when you think about these things, how does that make you angry? And what are you angry about? This gets into the anger threshold. So some of the saddest parts, this is the most traumatizing thing in my life. It's hard to say. There's a few, but one was when my girlfriend got kidnapped and abducted. That was pretty bad. It really traumatized me. A lot of drug addict stuff, being alone, thinking you're going to die for like a long time, days, and just panic, like elongated panic. Growing up, stuff with my parents and stuff like that. These were like traumatic things, right? They access points in me. I can't hide them because when big moments in my life happen that kind of rattle me, I don't know what to do. They tend to come out and they really mess everything up. So I want to look at that because that's my threshold of emotion, my threshold of expression. And in this case, threshold of anger. Okay. So if I get really angry because my toe gets stubbed, that means I've gotten really angry about stuff before and now have in my brain the ability to work the depth of that anger. We'll talk about this, okay? Suppression is the next one. So think about the last few times while you were writing this about what you were angry about, and you thought, you know what? I'm not really angry about that. I'm not angry about that anymore. I was angry about that, but think about those things that we denied or justified the cause of that anger rather than just being able to talk about the emotion of that anger. So an example of this is like, I'm mad at my girlfriend or wife because this happened. No, but I'm not. I understand. That was me being stupid. No, I get it. I've forgiven her for that or something like that, right? So that is denial and a way of suppressing. And we do this all the time with anger. It's like crazy. It's like, if we can't control it, it's like, we're good. Well, we controlled it enough, so we're fine. The next question is, what do you not want? Why do you not want to feel angry? So why is it bad to feel anger? Another question should be here is, why is it good to feel anger too? But like I said, we could go so deep with this. And really, just asking these questions is one part. It's our answers and discussing those with men who've been angry where it gets really good. So what will happen to your state of being if you're angry? What will happen to the people around you if you're angry? What will happen to your life? Okay. And then what we want to do is we want to take an action. So when we get angry today, it says get angry. When we get angry today or tomorrow or the next day and we feel that emotion, I want you to write down what it is that you feel, what you're angry about, what is access, what is it telling you to do? How is it telling you to think? Because an angry person is always right. This is interesting. An angry person is always right. An angry person always wants to express themselves. An angry person always justifies walking over somebody for their anger. But then anger is good. What do we do? What do we do? Well, the thing we do is we talk about it. Guys, we're doing this for free for a reason because I want you guys to interact. It's not some like gimmick sales pitch thing. If you like my stuff, you'll sign up for it. If you don't, you won't. But I want you to be able to develop yourself. I want you to do it in a way that works. I've been doing this for a long time. There's a lot of BS out there online. This will help you if you can do it. And if it's not your speed to do it, then I hope you find somebody else. There's great coaches out there that work with men, but there's a lot of bad ones that look really good. In any case, I'll talk to you guys later. Check out the calls below. We got one on Wednesday, we got one on Friday, and we got one on Monday, and they're for free. Be there. Later.